Evening, everybody. I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Monee Village Board of Trustees, June 25th, 2025. It is 6:39. I would like to please ask Dave Short to come up for the invocation.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Father, we just thank you for this beautiful day. Lord, thank you for the privilege of being able to be here to facilitate your work among these leaders. Lord, you said that your counsel, everything is working together for your good. And Lord, we ask, Father, that you would do that tonight, even in our conversations. Father, that you would honor our discussion, that you would give us insight, you would give us wisdom. And you are the wonderful counselor, and we ask for that counsel tonight. We ask you, Lord Jesus, that you would honor those whom honor is due, and we give you all the praise. And we bless this meeting in your mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Present.
Trustee Henson.
Present.
Trustee Horn.
Here.
Trustee Rakes.
Present.
Trustee Wilson.
Present.
Trustee Udras.
Present.
Thank you. Open to the public, agenda items only. All right, moving on to the consent agenda, may I have a motion to accept?
Make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Henson.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Rakes.
Yes.
Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Udras.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, under my report tonight, we're going to start with some presentations of police recognitions, and this is really very, very exciting stuff. So, first up, Meritorious Service Award. The assignment of Detective Ryan Boren to investigations was none too soon. In the middle of conducting over 40 employment backgrounds, investigators opened 167 cases in 2024, served 21 search warrants and 15 arrest warrants. They also served 76 subpoenas to acquire commercial video, computer files, and cell phone records. They continue to pursue indictments for 3 different pending homicide cases, and they have been chasing a home invasion suspect all over the country. The caseload continues to increase annually. Detective Ryan Boren hit the ground running in September of 2023. He had previous investigative experience and adapted quickly to our system. Ryan turned out to be extremely aggressive and hardworking in his pursuit of offenders. He was often found in the office late at night finishing paperwork and checking the latest reports. He covers every aspect and leaves no stone unturned. He answers his phone 24/7 most times just to answer questions. He is relied upon by patrol officers on a daily basis with reports and intelligence. He has built a great rapport with the state's attorney's office and has become a primary piece of MPD's very formidable investigative unit, a unit that is often sought out for assistance by other area agencies. Ryan's dedication is not only his greatest strength, but also his weakness. Supervisors have to force him out of the building and assign him time off, as he won't quit until the bad guys are all locked up and the paperwork is done. That same dedication made him a leader in patrol. He consistently led the department in criminal arrests and self-initiated activity. Ryan is a leader by example. His work ethic and commitment to the village of Monee is second to none. So Detective Ryan Boren is the recipient of the first ever Monee Police Meritorious Service Award. So we say congratulations and thank you for a job well done to Detective Boren, who is actually at training right now. So therefore, not here to get it, but yes, we thank him for his service. So next, we have, in August of last year, Officer Ramon McAlpine was selected to represent MPD as the school resource officer at Monee Elementary. Ramon is a 20-year veteran with a great deal of experience on the streets of both Harvey and Monee. He has turned out to be the perfect selection for both the PD and the Crete-Monee School District. Multiple times from multiple school officials, Chief Kerner received compliments and thank yous for Ramon's professionalism and dedication to our children. Ramon was asked to join the school's stakeholder program with staff as they would brainstorm ways to help the kids learn more effectively. For a little background, the stakeholders were looking for ways to raise test scores, which directly affect the growth and appeal of our community. One solution was to improve attendance, which correlates to improved testing. During this process, they developed plans to reward attendance, at which time Officer McAlpine volunteered to buy a bicycle for the student with the best attendance record. That evolved into buying one for the best male student and the best female student. Next, several of Ramon's fellow officers kicked in contributions to help pay for 2 new bikes. Those bikes went to a first grade boy and a third grade girl, both of whom just happened to be Monee residents. Congratulations to the kids and kudos to the stakeholders for their outstanding commitment to the children. Ramon, you are to be commended for your service to MPD and especially for your efforts as our school resource officer. While you serve as a symbol and protector of the school, you have gone above and beyond by being an active participant in the daily lives of these kids. Great job, and thank you for the way you represented MPD and the village and making us all proud. On a little side note here, I had a meeting with the truancy officer from the Crete-Monee High School, and we are looking to get you, Ramon, involved with them also because they are looking to do the same thing at the high school. So I think it's amazing what we're helping our children achieve here, so kudos, okay? Okay, next up, department commendation. On December 8th, 2024, Officer Stephen Crescenti and K-9 CAP stopped a car with no visible registration. A strong odor of cannabis led to an arrest for a request for other units so that officers could perform a search of the vehicle and its 2 occupants. While removing the passenger from the vehicle, he decided it was in his best interest to run. Officers Crescenti and Kevin Avers pursued him for a short distance before he stumbled to the ground while pulling a gun from his waistband. He pulled the gun and immediately raised it up, pointing it at his own head and yelling at officers. The officers drew their weapons and took up tactical positioning while ordering the suspect to drop the gun. After only a few seconds, the subject threw the weapon back over his head and was immediately subdued and taken into custody. The gun was reported stolen from Darien. The fleeing passenger and the driver were transported to Monee PD, where both claimed the gun belonged to the other guy. The passenger was ultimately charged with aggravated unlawful use of a weapon and possession of a stolen firearm. He was later transported to Franciscan Hospital for a mental evaluation. This incident could have very easily evolved into an officer-involved shooting. As soon as this individual reached for that gun in his waistband, Officers Crescenti and Avers had every legal right to shoot. They trusted their instincts, created space and positioning while overwhelming the suspect with direct and pointed instruction. This is why we train for any eventuality. This is why we challenge our officers to work harder and smarter every day. Officers Stephen Crescenti and Kevin Avers, you are to be commended for your quick thinking, your tactical advance, and your display of courage in a very tense situation. You not only took the subject into custody, removed a stolen gun from the street, You also made sure the subject received treatment for obvious signs of mental distress. And most importantly, you saved that young man's life. So thank you.
We'll bring the rest of the crew up for a quick photo op. Scott? One shirt on. Thank you, sir. Good job.
I'll let him take one.
Hold on. All right, you ready? Thank you.
I'm so proud and very impressed with our officers. They all do a great job, as they are all enjoying themselves. Okay, next under my report, I have a presentation by Tulip Tree Gardens. So I welcome everybody to come on up and tell us about yourselves.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. So last week at Provision Market, we served 117 households, and that was representing almost 280 individuals. But I'd like to give just a brief update on Provision Market and its impact on just Monee residents. Since opening on February 7th, we've operated 1 day a week, and we have served 199 unique Monee households, representing almost 500 individuals. Many returned regularly, bringing our total to 796 household visits and 1,990 individual visits for Monee residents. This shows the ongoing real need in our community. Families relying on us not just once, but week after week. A huge thank you goes to our market director, Darnice Cooper, who is also here this evening, whose leadership and compassion makes this consistency our core possibility. Her work in the heart behind the numbers is amazing. Provision Lab collaboration fuels our mission, and we are excited about the potential to partner with Tulip Tree Gardens of Beecher, Illinois, united by shared values of food security and health, sustainability, and community. And together, I believe we can achieve more than on our own. And with that, I'd like to invite Jess and Rachel Smedberg, founders of Tulip Tree, to share more about their work and vision with this partnership.
Hello.
Thank you.
Do I need to talk into this? Or I can just speak loud? Okay, speak up. Okay. I'm Rachel, and this is my husband, Jesse. We are really honored to be here. We're first-generation farmers based out of Beecher, Illinois. We have a farm right off of East Eagle Lake Road. Like Dave said, we're very much about the community, just like Provision Market. And over this past year, we became really passionate about getting local food to our local food banks and food pantries. We've been local food aggregators for about 3 years, but through the LFPA grant, we were able to aggregate close to 300,000 pounds of local Illinois-grown food and distributed that to our partners in food banks and food pantries. So we really truly believe this is a full circle. We're supporting our local farmers, including if people are familiar with Kevin and Molly Gorman out of Monee. We support them through these programs. Fox at the Fork, Josh Snedden, their farms, and then local other farmers throughout Will County. And so, you know, we met with Dave and we saw their concept at Provision Market, and we really truly believe that local nutrient-dense food needs to be accessible again. So we kind of just wanted to present some ideas. Some of our current, can we go next here? Maybe just down.
There we go.
So yeah, some of our current partners, we're a really robust business. So, you know, we work with Meals on Wheels. We provide to the National Guard. We actually work with the village of Crete right now. We actually just launched a similar concept with them in providing food box or food bags with them on a weekly basis for their food bank. We work with Park Forest as well with their senior programs, and Lurie's Hospital and the Illinois Department of Agriculture. And so, you know, we're looking at partnering with various organizations in various townships to kind of revamp food pantries and revamp local food and food security for our most vulnerable people in our community.
So a little bit about this. Obviously, Rachel already touched on kind of who we are. So I've got this presentation, and we can send this out to more and more people as needed. But our on-farm operations include raising vegetables, pork. We raise hogs. We have some goats, and we're bringing in sheep next year, actually, as well. We aggregate from about 80 different farms in the region. So we bring in both small-scale production farmers, smaller scale like Kevin and Molly Gorman, and we also go all the way to aggregating large beef contracts for school programs and different programming throughout the state. So we kind of spread the gamut there. Aggregation efforts that include for what we do is we have box packing capacity for about 2,000 recipients a week in terms of individual box capacities. Right now we do box programming anywhere typically from 250 to maybe 450 a week on average right now, as well as our bulk drop programming as well. So for instance, with Provision, we do bulk drop programming because they've got this really innovative concept of getting the food out, and so it doesn't require the individual box programming. But one of the things that's been really beneficial about that is the ability to do at-home deliveries for homebound seniors and really anybody that's homebound and disabled. So we partnered with Top Box Foods out of Chicago, and they have a whole fleet of trucks that does our at-home distributions for us, and they are really excited about being able to expand in what they're doing as well. So one of the big problems we've seen in distributions is that they usually take a long time. There's long lines. We did a distribution last week out in Lockport where we had seniors waiting for 3 hours in cars lined up down the road in order to get a box of food. So one of the ways, and they had a whole fleet of volunteers and the most passionate people and working their absolute best to get it done efficiently. But one of the ways that we can alleviate a lot of those pain points, particularly in the distribution side, as demand is increasing amongst public food, is to include at-home delivery options for seniors. There's a number of different federal and state programs that municipalities can apply for with regard to grants that we can also help you kind of navigate some of those grants and opportunities as well. Why we do what we do? Well, you know, we believe that our country's food system is broken. Industrialized food has given way to really effective and really efficient food banking. They do it really well. But one of the things that happens when you industrialize food and you distribute it at a large scale, you lose the ability to have fresh produce, fresh herbs, nutrient-dense proteins, and we end up, as a system, we end up going to the lowest common denominator of ingredients for our most vulnerable citizens. So we're taking the most vulnerable and we're giving them the least quality of options. And so one of the things that the LFPA program or the Illinois Eats program did last year is that really flipped the table on that whole story, and it said, hey, we're gonna aggregate local and regional high nutrient density food, and we're gonna distribute that directly into the food banks and food pantries of our most vulnerable citizens. And in doing so, we found all sorts of really great impact stories, but not only are they eating great nutrient-dense food and they're actually improving their general livelihood, but we're engaging farmers and communities with citizens in ways that we haven't done since before the industrialized aspect of food. We have distribution recipients from Ridge Township that get our chicken in a food box and come to our gathering market on Thursday night to visit the farm and see what this place is all about. And we're able to engage our neighbors in ways that we just really haven't been able to do before. So that's one of the really most profound, I think, benefits that's kind of hard to put a metric on, but it is an incredible value to villages and townships and communities as a whole. So what we do is we kind of fill that gap between the industrialized food that is often staple driven, where you got to have your canned goods, you got to have a lot of these basics. But in terms of really what is gonna feed people instead of filling stomachs is gonna be fresh produce. It's gonna be nutrient dense foods. It's gonna be quality proteins. These are the things that are really most important. So we're move to the next slide. Programming specifics. I touched on that. Obviously, bulk drops like we do here at Provision, as well as food as medicine programming. And that is definitely, there's more than enough room in food as medicine programming to have a whole other conversation about that. But one of the things you'll see with Medicaid and Medicare over the next year is the advent of the 1115 program. And if you're not familiar with that, I'd love to chat about it, but it's going to really revolutionize the way that our vulnerable citizens and Medicaid recipients and Medicare recipients are going to be getting food. They'll be able to have doctors prescribe medically tailored meals as well as medically tailored groceries. And we're really excited about that coming on board next year. So, and townships and villages are going to have a huge part in actually navigating the distribution of these services for Medicare and Medicaid. So it's one thing to think about. Programming structures typically start around 120 family units a week. We also do monthlies. We also do different customized type programs. Cost structures, I have a separate cost document I can share with you, but it's really budget based, and it's really kind of based on what the community feels is most accessible for them to invest on a per person basis. But this can be something as simple as like what we do with Crete Township, or the Village of Crete, where they said they came to us with a fixed budget, and it was a very, very modest budget, and they said, hey, this is what we can do. What can you do? And we had a meeting very similar to this, and we were able to put together a $10 box program for, and I have samples here, so we can actually have people take a look if you want. Maybe Darnice is going to help out. Awesome, thank you. So this just gives you an idea of what they're going to be able to receive. And like this one is a $10 program. This is certified organic carrots from Perkins Goodorth Farm. The squashes from Gorman's, onions from Gorman's.
No, the onions aren't.
Salad
She has
greens
greens from Bland Farm.
from Bland Family Farms,
Yeah.
and then Severson rolled oats from Dwight, Illinois, just about an hour, 45 minutes, maybe 45 minutes away. So all of the food that we aggregate and distribute is local, and we're also sensitive to to the cost demands of public programming. So we typically work with budget directors and program officials to work around what is really accessible rather than us trying to tell you, hey, this is how much we need to do X, Y, Z. We really want to be creative and we want to tailor a solution specifically
You can
to
eat
the-
one.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, eat one.
They're delicious.
They're great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the box that was dropped, or the bag that was dropped off at Crete. Actually, this morning on Wednesdays we dropped for them.
And then, oh, sorry. And then I have also, and I'm not going to go through and read all of this, okay? But just to give you a quick little outline of some different options and the way things are going to look like. We can do small family boxes, medium, large, special dietary boxes. We also work with registered dietitians and nutritionists to tailor boxes for diabetes patients, hypertensive patients, as well as a number of other chronic disease patients like Crohn's disease and things like that we can tailor boxes to. Usually more specific, we're usually doing that up at Lurie's in Chicago, but also with any medical providers in the area, we're more than willing to work with. So let's see, what else here? Bulk food distribution. This is a little bit more about what we're doing here in Monee right now with provision. So bulk pantry goods, rice and beans, honey oats. We do frozen proteins, our own pork, of course, but we also do a number of other farms, pork as well as beef, chicken, and lamb. We also have, coming on board now, halal certified chicken, and our lamb will also be halal certified as well for any aspects of the community that may be sensitive to that. Dairy as well is a big one. So dairy, we do all aggregation of A2 certified milk, meaning that, so the cows that we source from are Heritage Brown Swiss and then Jersey cows, and they both produce a really great butterfat, really incredible milk. It's all, I'm sorry? Well, they're about as local as a dairy can get. So they're, Kilgus is down in Fairbury, Illinois. And then Rocky Road, which is, I believe, the last Heritage Brown Swiss herd in the state, they're down in Mulberry Grove. And it's a really beautiful little town if you're ever driving there. And so, yeah, dairy is another one. And then also our cheese. So our cheese is A2 certified, and it's all grass-fed, grass-finished dairy. We don't distribute conventional dairy today, but certain programming, as Medicaid may see fit, we can see how that may come about. Also, our eggs that we sell and distribute are all pastured. I know that a lot of these buzzwords can fire off like dollar signs in terms of pricing, but I can assure you, we have worked very hard over the years to get not only our local farmers, but to get the system into a position where costs can continually come down and competitive, and also highlight the nutritional density advantage that we have with local food over the industrial food system. So that being said, what else?
Yeah,
do I
we can
got?
send that document.
Yeah,
to
and
you, too.
we can send this to you guys, and yeah. Any questions? We're trying to be sensitive to your time. So.
The 1115 program,
Mhm.
and I think what's fascinating and talking about health providers, their system really feels as much something very similar, reaching out to food deserts and food medicine.
Mhm.
And that might be something exactly what you're looking for. Something that you talk to.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to reach out.
And then I know, over the years, I've seen several of your presentations and, in our area too, to get these things processed and finished and things. How far do you have to go when you get the goods processed?
So our meat is processed at a
The time, sorry.
Our meat is processed at a USDA certified facility. So we don't do any on-farm processing. Currently in Illinois we can't, but next year we will be able to do poultry, even though we won't, farmers will. So we go to Eureka Locker and Chinoa Locker, which are for our pork, beef, and lamb. And chicken is processed either by Zemzem Halal or Great Lakes is now doing batches for us as well over in DeMod. The difficulty around processing is really, I mean, there's a whole long conversation with processing. But
I remember seeing a couple of those too, and of which one of those that you did here for the community, it was probably almost 2 years ago now, and we were in attendance for that too. So that's another thing that maybe a lot of people don't even realize what all you do, and it's amazing.
well, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, so we'll follow up with the documentation, and, we'd love to be able to partner with Provision, Market in a bigger way to supply local food through, the Village of Monee and the municipality to really invest in the most vulnerable citizens. So yeah, like I said, we'll follow up with an email, and we'll go from there. And if you have any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Perfect. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you.
We can reach you. You contact from Dave, or just when you get a chance. Thank you. That's yours.
Thank you so much, Justin, Rachel, for that. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to the clerk's report.
I have no report.
And moving on to the administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Now to some really fascinating stuff. Going to pay some bills. First item is the new Public Works building, pay request 12. The village has received pay request number 12 from PBS for the Public Works construction project during the pay period of June 4th, 2025. The amount is $1,287,408.50. All invoices and supporting documentation for payment have been reviewed and certified by Farnsworth and the village staff and meet plans and specifications according to the contract. Board action request is a motion to approve pay request number 12 to PBS for the pay period ending June 4th, 2025, in the amount of $1,287,408.50.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
How many, this is payment, this payout request 12, how many more are there?
That's a good question. We're getting close to moving in. The projected date is July, early August, and hopefully by then we have everything pretty much wrapped up. There's still some finishing, some trim work that's being done, but we're coming to the end. So
Thank you.
I don't have a definitive answer, but we're close.
And I want to say I had the opportunity last week to actually go walk through it with Ed, and if you guys haven't had a chance, get over there. It is impressive. It really is impressive. It's going to be a very nice facility for our public works. Very nice.
If I can just add one more thing to dovetail to Trustee Udris, there's a training room, and what we're looking to do is similar to what the police department does now with their current facility and with the future facility, and that's to offer training for not only public works but also surrounding public works to hosts, which is also a revenue that the village will be able to receive for the training facility. But we're looking to partner with the local towns surrounding the village and to expand out from what we're doing now. And in fact, the next board action is going to speak along those same lines. But that building is going to be used by not only Public Works but also the community as well. There's going to be a phenomenal building, as you just mentioned.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Hansen?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. Next item is a surplus donation of village property. This is a 1999 International Model DT 4700, and it is a single-axle dump truck. The Department of Public Works Superintendent Ed Johnson has requested to surplus and donate their 1999 International dump truck to the Village of Crete. The Village Board approved its purchase in November of 1998. and it has been a true workhorse over the past 26 years, and it's been crucial for snow removal, branch chipping, material hauling, and countless other projects. Unfortunately, decades of harsh Midwest winters have taken their toll, rendering a truck unsafe due to extensive rust and corrosion. Parts are increasingly difficult to source, making the cost of repairs exceed its value, which is approximately $2,500. The Village of Crete, which operates several trucks of this same international generation, can make excellent use of the vehicle as they plan to utilize the cab and other salvageable parts to maintain their existing fleet. Our villages have a long history of close collaboration and mutual support, frequently sharing vehicles and resources. Donating this truck to Crete's Department of Public Works will allow us to continue this valuable partnership. Board action request is a motion to approve the surplus of the 1999 International Dump Truck, model DT 4700, valued at $2,500.
I'll make that
Make-
motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
That's another wonderful thing about the new facility, DPW facility. Ed had an opportunity to walk through with Ed and Trustee Udris. We won't have to leave equipment outside anymore, so it won't be subjected to the harsh winters and elements. And a lot of times, it speeds up the process of rusting and deterioration, especially with the exhaust and undercarriage and the bodies of it. So that's another cost savings. Put it back in our pocket type situation. The new facility is going to accommodate all that our equipment, heavy equipment, enough garage space that we won't have to leave it outside. So that's another thing. And to piggyback off of the training center, we're not just building a facility for now, but for the future. So there's tremendous opportunity for growth, and also with that, inviting other municipalities to join in and to be a part of what we're doing here. So it's just not about us. With the future that's being built into these facilities, and the same thing's going to carry through with the police department, it's just not for us. It's for the future of this region, and we're leading in this region. So we're going to continue to do that and continue to invest in our town, in our village, and also in the community. So it is multifaceted. It's just not one-dimensional. There's many angles, there's many avenues that we have an opportunity to do that. So I just commend the board, the foresight, and mayor and Ed for the input to give us that insight so we can build a facility not for today but for tomorrow, and that's going to benefit all of us. So thank you, Ed.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Rakes,
Yes.
Trustee Wilson,
Yes.
Trustee Udris,
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Henson,
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Thank you, Board. And the second board action request is a motion to approve the donation of the 1999 International Dump Truck Model DT 4700 to the Village of Crete, Department of Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson,
Yes.
Trustee Udris,
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Henson,
Yes.
Trustee Horn,
Yes.
Trustee Rakes.
Yes.
Thank you, Board. Next item is a pay request number 3 for the Marie Lefebvre Bailey Park. The village has received pay request number 3 from Farnsworth Group for the Marie Lefebvre Bailey Park project for the pay period ending June 6, 2025, in the amount of $45,309.24. The invoice is attached. All invoices and supporting documentation for payment have been reviewed and certified by the Farnsworth Group and village staff and meet the plans and specifications according to the contract. Board action request is a motion to approve pay request number 3 to Crockett Construction for pay period ending June 6, 2025, in the amount of $45,309.24.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Discussion. I know this is payment number 3, and I know it's kind of stalled again too, so do we have any timeline on when they're supposed to be finished with this? Or further build out?
I do. Yeah, so they put together a very detailed timeline, and the goal is to be done beginning of August, and things are moving along pretty well. ComEd rep came out the other day about where we're locating the electricity or the box, so that's going to help a lot. And so she said no problem, probably the next few weeks and that we can just go ahead and bore underneath the roadway directly to the post. So that was a concern, that it may take longer, even though I submitted the paperwork back in February. But, so it's moving along.
Thank you.
Yep.
I had a question too. We'll go away. On this invoice or continuation sheet, at least in this period, I'm assuming this is for, on this bill that they're requesting, there's $3,900, $3,980 for site accessories. Can you speak to what that is?
I don't know. I have not seen the bill, so I don't know. It went directly to Farnsworth.
Because we've already paid $11,400, if I'm reading it right. I don't know what site accessories are, so I'd kind of like to know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Bill, this being done will be finished in August, like, or
Yeah, the only
I don't
thing
have
that,
to go and put a,
the only extra thing, well, the statue obviously has to be put in. So that's also slated to be right at the end of August to be completed. So we just have to find a way to get it up here, which we'll do. The only other, the change that we made when I talked to Heidi is at the base of the statue, she'll be like, we'll plant native plants, right? So we'll do that. That's the only change, but they just changed the invoice or the bill going forward and credited us. But then there's some other stuff that comes out, like they have to cut in or cut out a part of asphalt that led off of Court Street into the house that was there, the garage. So we have to remove part of that. So, you know, there's a few changes, but nothing drastic.
great stuff.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Bill. Roll call, please.
Trustee Udress?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
No.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. I have one last item. I know it's not on the agenda, but this is information purposes. So there is a public meeting, or I'm sorry, a public hearing that's been called by the Will County Department of Transportation. It's tomorrow, Thursday, June 26th. It's at the elementary school, and it will be from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. I believe it's in the gymnasium, and the county is asking for public comment. They are proposing an east-west freight mobility transportation plan that they've been working on for decades now. It's numerous years, and they're in the last leg of this plan, and it's to have connectivity from I-57 to Route 394, and that's to bring semi-traffic across the eastern part of Will County. And so there's been several proposals that have been presented to the village. This is the latest, and I want to make sure that the board and the public is aware of this. The first proposal is to create a 4-lane highway from Harlem Avenue to 57, which is much needed. It's a very congested roadway. The truck traffic would continue eastbound, and as it approaches Egyptian Trail, just east of that intersection, they propose to place an overpass. That overpass would continue over Governor's Highway. It would pass through our town center just to the north of it, and then continue eastward, and it would come back down to grade level behind McCorkle subdivision, continue eastward behind Gulf Vista, continue between the elementary school on Will Center and Country Meadows, continue eastbound, and it would connect up at Stager, Monee, and then at that point come back south to Crete Monee and head eastward to 394. So that proposal would be costly, would affect a few, well, the whole village, but also the economy, our town center, everything that it's in motion right now.
The overpass would basically just bypass the town center and anything here in Monee, and would effectively just stomp out any progress that we've done, my opinion.
I agree.
It's a huge
It
concern.
would be the death of Monee.
And that's not addressing the resources that the village, there's an overpass that will have snow, sleet, ice, crashes, broke down vehicles. We'll have to have police officers to handle those calls.
So Ruben, why wouldn't they build that just a little further south? That doesn't
So
make
that's
sense
option
to
one.
me.
I haven't gotten option two.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But wait, there's more.
And I only say that because it's a lot of farmland that way, and
Yes, sir.
so I apologize.
So the second option would be further to the south edge of town at Governor's Highway. So the traffic would be proposed to come from the 4-lane on Monee Manhattan Road to Governor's, head south, and then at Watson's Cutoff, they propose to put a roadway down the middle of the 90 acres the village purchased. So this would be between Walker's Grove and Heatherbrook, if you could picture that. The traffic would then run eastbound. Yes, ma'am. Would run eastbound and continue, and that would go, I believe, to Kirsten is where that would connect to, and then back north up to Crete Monee Road, and then over to 394. And so is the board, but for the public, a reminder that the village has purchased that 90 acres right at this location and has proposed the new site of the police department. So that road would be right through the parcel where the police department would be engineered and constructed, and then continue eastbound. So those are the two options right now that have been presented to the village for consideration. And so again, this meeting is tomorrow from 4 to 7 p.m. at the elementary school.
And
Basically, both of them are right through Monee.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Can I ask where the thought process is with why you go right through, like, you go a little further south, it's a lot of farmland. I'm going.
And just to again, going back in time, the village has been in the midst of dealing with the truck traffic in creating that FAU route. Although the FAU route is no longer a term that's used, but it's the easiest to identify truck traffic, commercial vehicle transportation for 80,000-pound vehicles. So that takes a Class 1 highway, according to IDOT standards, to maintain 80,000 pounds. So that's been a problem, is these trucks come through the village in through the town, and we have them sometimes on side streets, down Court Street. The police department is always stuck going through the roundabout, and so it's been an ongoing issue, and we've worked at addressing this. So right now we're in the we have finalized phase 1 of the engineering for the realignment project. Everyone's favorite intersection in the town is Cleveland Hamilton there at the pilot. We have the offset intersection. So the plan is, what we hope to is finalize the land acquisition to be able to align these roadways, this intersection, have signalization there at that intersection, and then bring that truck traffic off of Monee Manhattan Road, off 57, and be able to bring that truck traffic down Cleveland Avenue, down to Industrial, through the industrial complex where all the vehicles out there are predominantly semi-traffic. And so we would have a route to keep them out of going through the town center, Egyptian Trail, and getting lost throughout the village looking. And that's why it's important that we have signage, we have signalization, but a whole new roadway is being constructed. And that project is slated to start in the fall of this year for Cleveland Avenue. So that roadway will be ripped out. We'll go below base. We'll put a new base in, widen the road, curb, sidewalk, gutters. Will all be placed on Cleveland. That new curve configuration, as you're coming up 57, you see that curve. That'll be widened. That'll be addressed. And so this is all being paid for by the village. So this route is being already handled. That they propose to put this overpass. It's being handled. This was presented to them in a private meeting that we had with DOT. And so I'm hoping that they take this back. We've talked to the board president. We've reached out to different officials as well to voice our concerns. And hopefully we get enough people to show up at this meeting. And you'll be able to have comments. You'll be able to talk to the engineers one-on-one with them. They'll be there to answer our questions, and there'll also be questionnaires and surveys that you'll be able to fill out, and they read every single one. It's kept on file, and so it's important. Your attendance is important to be there.
Ruben, I had a question. I think it was about 6 years ago, perhaps. There was I think you may have been here at that time. There was a presentation, I believe, made by IDOT, and they were presenting to us a roadway with a completion date, I remember, of 2045, and it was a expressway connection south of town. Has that been abandoned, or do you know the status of that?
My understanding, if you're referring to the Eagle Lake interchange, so that has not been abandoned. That is in motion. The IDOT, their plan is to continue and construct an interchange and build a roadway in anticipation of an airport.
Okay, so this is in addition to the Eagle Lake. I think it was going to connect 57 to 65.
At one point.
Yeah.
So,
First plan, that's probably been 15 years ago when it originally came up. They were going to build a toll road from 355 connecting 80, 55 all the way to 65. The toll road in the state condemned all the land, tore down all the houses, and had the plan in place. It was determined by the legislature at that time that they no longer wanted to invest in that. And the land was given back to Mokina, New Lenox, in those areas, and they immediately put developments up where they planned to take that through so that they wouldn't come back again.
It answers that question, because that was my question too, and I remember it was coined the Ileana Expressway. So now that it's developed, it's off the table altogether now at that location.
So my question would be, is the reason why they're trying to go through Monee and those parts, is that so we pay for it? Is that then why is it so imperative, and I know I'll ask these questions tomorrow, that it goes through Monee and just not a little further south to where maybe you ask a farmer to give some of this farmland? You know,
That's a great question. This is started back in the 90s. This has been a long discussion.
Because it's 6 miles or 8 miles to 394.
Mm-hmm. Right. So one of the questions was, why not Stunkel Road? The state built a brand new interchange. It's beautiful. No one's out there. Would that work? And so that presented numerous problems, and which made sense. It goes through a forest preserve. There's conservation area, wetlands, protected property, and there's no roadway that they would connect to. They would have to start brand new. So the route they're looking for would be already on constructed highway or constructed roadway, and they would just be improved upon. So that took out the Stunkel Road. The County Line Road, I know at the time the Peatone mayor really impressed upon them to put it down County Line Road. There would be other than agriculture, there really is nothing there that would be disruptive, and probably the easiest path. Well, because it borders 2 counties, that was out of the question.
Yeah, I could really go on all day about those comments in and of itself.
There's no easy solution. There really isn't. I mean, I understand from where they're coming from, but obviously the village has to protect the village.
This is the state that's doing this.
This is our community to protect, and the businesses, and it would be devastating to that town center and its future development and development on Monee Manhattan Road as well. All our businesses would be impacted.
Agreed.
This is the state that's doing this?
This is Will County.
It's Will County.
Will
Then
County
what does the
DOT.
Will County Board have to say? Because everybody knows who to contact for the Will County Board. Contact them. Tell them what you think.
So in that, to impress upon what Ruben has said, this will change or could change our very way of life here in Monee. And those 3 subdivisions, a waste of money to do an overpass over the 3 most populous subdivisions in this town. it can't happen. And I remember Molly Gorman talking about going down Stunkel, but even if if everybody did that survey, I think it was 2 years ago now, 2 full years, that survey, we're still talking about this and still no answers. If you take it, the trucks down Stunkel, down 50, and south on 50 to Drawley, and then up, eastbound on Drawley to, no, even like Old Monee Road, Monee Steger Road.
Yeah.
So, and if you look at the choices given, just that, that a mile and a quarter stretch of Drawley, even though there's wetlands there and the forest preserve, that had the least impact of population of all the choices given. So, and I don't know why that was, other than coming down Court Street, which also was one of their bright ideas. Oops, sorry. One of their ideas that I think just that one from 50 over to Drawley to, down to Drawley, I think that was the least impactful of our town and of populations of either University Park or Monee. So everybody needs to go tomorrow, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Board, are we all going tomorrow?
Absolutely.
I'm there.
I can't get there until about 6.
I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to be nice, but I'm going.
Okay. I'm just trying to get as much information by any who doesn't show so that we can all speak up. I think this is a big deal. This is
Well, it's a
this is
big,
huge.
to the school board as well, the school district, because we just put a safe routes to school in. We make connectivity for the kids to get through, and then they're going to have a highway right between Country Meadows and the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
It will effectively choke out Monee. Effectively, it will choke Monee out.
where we're struggling for areas to expand as it is.
We're starting to
You know.
expand, we're starting to get some business
to
rooftops in
solar
here,
farms,
and
yeah.
who's going to want to be beside that?
Right.
No.
So, the one
Yeah.
question that
My
I
question
have,
is, why Monee, like Chuck was saying? Why somewhere else?
with like the second option that you brought out about going through that 90 acres, we already own that land. So do we have a say to say, no, you can't do that? Or can they just come in and say, we're putting a road here, move your police station?
I asked them that.
What, like
I asked them about eminent domain.
eminent
I said,
domain?
so you plan on doing eminent domain with the village? No answer, but.
Yeah, because I think that could be a nice block for that, personally.
Or develop it.
Yeah, so let's start the police station next week and get it up, and
Yeah.
Daryl?
We're golden.
Hey, Daryl, can we?
Daryl just passed out.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time digesting, yeah. I'm having a hard time digesting that the answer is an overpass versus building a new road.
Right.
And I just can't wrap my brain around it. I don't understand how, and it seems like the county's dead set on putting this through Monee. I don't know if we're the path of least resistance on this, or,
Oh,
but,
we're not going to be least
because the
resistance.
narrative keeps changing, but the one constant in it is the Village of Monee, running it
Exactly.
through the Village of Monee. So I highly encourage everyone to attend and voice their opinion, because, as my wife always says, closed mouths don't get fed. So this is an opportunity to make some noise about this, because an overpass through a town square, I mean, we have existing roadways that lead east to west all the way across. Not all of them are in Monee, some of them are in Peatone, but that's not even on the table. Why? That's my concern, so.
Well, and this, you can think of it's Will County then too. The only thing I can think of that where they're getting it, like when they finished 355 and they put, the 355, that mile-long bridge basically, that stands like, 300 or 400 feet high over Lockport and stuff, but it's not populated under there. That's,
Right.
so it's, maybe that's where they got their idea, but how long is that gonna, even if it went through, how long would that take? 10, 20 years? Shh. Yeah, everybody needs to go. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah, an overpass, truck overpass, right past the senior development and subdivision. I mean, I don't even understand it. It doesn't even make
The
sense.
school is a good point too.
Yeah, and the school.
That's huge.
So, I don't know. Unless they're trying to sabotage us, I don't know. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Almost
I mean,
feels that way.
That's
don't it?
exactly what it
It
feels
almost
like.
feels that way. There's plenty of them less
Okay.
populated to the south of us.
That's all
Plenty
I've
of roads
got.
that are already existing.
Are you
down
sure?
there. There's plenty of roads that go straight through, that are
Right, thank
already
you.
existing to the south of us.
Okay, thank you, Board. And the report.
We'll stop now. I'm gonna stop.
Moving on to the officials' reports. Public Works, Trustee Horn.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, as some people have alluded to, we continue to make some progress with the construction of the Department of Public Works facility. I was over there today. They're doing painting, they're doing floor sealing and coating. One of the big roadblocks, which I mentioned last 2 weeks ago, was we're waiting for a large electrical panel, which is back ordered, and they say it's going to be delivered by, I think it was July 16th, July 17th, somewhere around there. 16th. So we are hoping for that. Let's put it that way. So that's kind of a thing that's holding some of the final construction up. The next scheduled pickup for sticks and so forth and branches is Monday, July 7th. And one of the main jobs of the Public Works right now is just keeping up with grass cutting in our public spaces. So you'll see them out there all day, every day. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, Trustee Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mayor. Before my report too, so I know at last meeting we had talked about the progress or lack of progress for the park and everything, and we're all very anxious to get done. And we were hoping to get a presentation tonight, although those folks were already committed to another presentation. So as I understand it from Ruben, hopefully they will be here at our very next meeting, our first meeting in July, to give that update report. So as of today, that's where we stand. And for our Parks and Recreation report, movies in the park tonight featuring Lilo and Stitch. And thank you once again to Animal Wellness for sponsoring this summer's movies in the park. And July is right around the corner and have lots of activities and programs coming. And so please visit the website and the Facebook pages for more information and the calendar as they appear. And just so everybody knows, as of today, there are 72 days left until Fall Fest. So be on the lookout for the next newsletter, which is in print now and to be mailed out within the next 2 weeks with details on that. And Monee Chamber of Commerce, the 15th annual Family Baseball Night at the Slammers is coming up on August 2. The Slammers are playing the New Jersey Jackals, and tickets are only $12 per person, and the parking is free. And if anybody has ever gone to the Slammers game in the past, we have boxes. It's a lot of fun. So, to go to this building here, the Parks Admin Building, to ticket for your ticket purchase. End of report.
Thank you. Moving on to Finance, Trustee Rakis.
Thank you, Mayor. The village staff is currently working on fiscal year 2026 budget. The staff looks to bring forward a draft budget to committee within the next couple of weeks. As of today, the village's general fund has a revenue of $1.8 million and expenses of $1.3 million for the current fiscal year. The village investments are currently $3.2 million with an average yield of 4.2%. That is the end of my report, but I would like to say great job to our officers. I think that's really cool, Chief. Awesome. They're gone now, but I wanted to say thank you to Dave and the whole food pantry program. I learned tonight when I spoke with him, the families, and he reiterated it first, so I don't have to go through it, but I think that is so great for what is coming of that. I think it's a beautiful thing. My mom would be very happy, so You guys ain't here, but thank you. Hope you watch it on the video. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Moving on to economic development, Trustee Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Under Unite Monee, Subway. The new Subway located in Lamellas Plaza on Monee Manhattan Road will have their grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony July 2nd in the morning. And then it will be directly open for business immediately afterwards. Hours of operation are as follows: Monday through Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tractor Supply. As you may have already noticed, Tractor Supply earthwork for this development has begun last week in our town center. This will be the first of many retailers and businesses that we are confident our Economic Development Director, Bill Barnes, will bring or will entice a new business. Over the last couple years, a common theme in IML conference has been municipalities inquiring the future properties or properties for future development, economic development. For those municipalities in the financial position to do so, it was encouraged so that they can steer their economic development, that they could choose or be selective or provide opportunities for those development contractors and companies wishing to come and to entice them, having available land for them to come and develop. So at this time, I call up Economic Development Director Bill Barnes so he can touch further, just in the sake of transparency, of where the village is going in the future and why we're doing what we're doing.
Right.
Bill?
Thanks, Mike. So as everybody knows, over the past year and a half, we've been very open, transparent about properties, pursuing like the 90 acres we've talked about for future residential, police station, that type of thing. And then, of course, one of the more, I guess, the recent is Manhattan Monee Road and Gale Avenue that we've been purchasing the houses. We started with, I think, Auto Mode that was on the corner, which actually I think will be demoed next week. But along with that, I know change isn't easy for some people. And, in any town, small, large, rumors start, what have you. So I was contacted last week by the reporter at the Vidette about someone who said that we're basically forcing people out of their homes and what have you. So, and I'll read my response for those that don't get the Vidette. I think it maybe came out yesterday or today. So here we go. So I was emailed with a question regarding the village purchasing former businesses and on Manhattan Monee Road at Egyptian Trail and residential properties behind these on Gale Avenue. The majority of these 10, or I think soon to be 11, properties we have purchased to date are in Monee Township and will eventually be annexed into the village. All of these properties were professionally appraised, and the village has been very fair in what we have paid for these and have given the owners ample time to find new location for a new home. This area on Manhattan Monee Road is not only a busy road for trucks visiting the 3 truck plazas, it is a prime location for future commercial and retail development. As Will County and developments along I-57 continue, we are being strategic in the future growth of Monee. The recent development and openings of Dollar Tree and Starbucks to the west are proof that Monee is becoming a desired location for food and retail locations. We have been very consistent and open with the public in our communications during our board meetings about our strategy to have this area developed, as mentioned above. Not only will this complement the development of our town center, where Tractor Supply developers broke ground last week, it will bring current and future residents new places to shop and enjoy, and yes, of course, one day a grocery store. I had to put that in there. To the reporter's question and someone's comment that they were told, I think by me and the realtor, to get out now. That has never been said. In fact, we have people have come to us once they heard and saw that they had an opportunity to sell, and all negotiations have been very cordial. And as I once heard, in life and business, we are either growing or regressing. There is no status quo. Monee is growing, and we're being very strategic about it. Thanks.
Thank you, Bill. So all these sales of willing participants, all we could do is ask, and some say no, some say yes. So, but this is the direction that the board has decided to go, and if we were going to go towards land acquisition with a purpose and a plan, the Starbucks, Dollar General, we're looking for enticing commercial development, and with even bigger and better businesses. A lot of names have been thrown out there, restaurants and dining facilities, and also whatever is readily available that wants to come. But we have an opportunity to entice or to grab that niche or market because we have land available. We're not landlocked. So it's not willy-nilly. It's purposeful and with an intent and plan. Like I said, with the comprehensive plan, we're following that as a blueprint, not set in stone, but also it's fluid, and we do make adaptations to it. But we do have a plan, and we're always open and willing for suggestions and comments. So at any point in time, if anybody has some concerns or questions or even any input, we desire that, because that's how we mold the future and direction and apply our resources. So if there's something that you have a question about, anyone out there, you can contact myself or Economic Development Director Bill Barnes at bbarnes@villageofmonee.org or mwilson@villageofmonee.org, with your comments, concerns, or just questions. It doesn't have to be anything. It could just be something that's on your mind as far as the future direction or the vision of the village, so that we can keep all the innuendos and we can keep all the negativity away, because we're being very transparent. We want Monee to grow, and we want those things that we enjoy in other towns and other places right here in our own backyard, so to speak, so then that way we can flourish and thrive and be that more comfortable in our community, so we don't have to venture out. We can stay right here. We can keep our dollars right in town working for itself. So that's the plan. That's the goal. And we definitely don't need an overpass going through it. So just put that out there. So as I always say, when available, shop Monee. End of report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Moving on to building services, Trustee Henson.
No report, Mayor.
And moving on to public safety, Trustee Udris.
Thank you, Mayor. Start off with EMA. They had a busy time here. EMA recently just finished their building security system upgrade, and they're now proceeding to the next step, which is going to be for the live webcam, which is installing the necessary software. On June 18th, EMA assisted with traffic control for the Police Special Olympics Torch Run. They provided 2 traffic units for approximately 45 minutes. And on June 19th, EMA provided 4 personnel for 5 hours for our Juneteenth celebration. And from the files of when you think you've seen it all, also on the 19th, EMA showing their ability to adapt to any situation was presented with working to try to gather up 3 loose cows that were running through our village. The cows were eventually rounded up, and they were secured in a fenced-in yard and able to be transported to a nearby farm. EMA provided 2 units for approximately 1.5 hours for that. It was a team effort. DPW and police. Oh, DPW was part of the wrangling. All right. So our departments working together. So, but that's awesome. For our police department, I don't have a report, but just want to say congratulations to the officers that we honored tonight. Every single officer in our department probably could have been up here receiving an award, but it's testament to how our village is growing, how the situations that they're being presented with are expanding and coming to us, but it also showing that Our police department is very capable of handling anything that is put towards it and being able to do it in a very professional manner. So, as I always say, when you see our officers, please wave at them, please say thank you, please tell them to have a great day. They're out there protecting us, and they would love to hear from you. So, end of report.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the attorney's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have 3 items for the board's review and consideration. The first item, I distributed proposed solar ordinance that we have a very small one now. This is more in depth, trust me. And the highlights are, and it cannot be more than 20 feet. The farm's got to be 50 foot away from the right-of-way, 50 foot away from the boundary line, 150 feet from the nearest dwelling. There's got to be minimum glare. The berm's got to be 3 foot height, and must be landscaped with trees. There's got to be adequate screening. There's got to be utilities underground. They got to present a conservation plan. The owner and operator is liable for the maintenance, and they have to present a plan to avoid any damage to roadways. This is in connection with that company who wants to come in, Monee Manhattan and Turning Point, Will Center. And if the board recalls, they've already been permitted through the county. So to me, it's sort of important to get this on the books, because they can go to the county, they got the permit, and anything we're gonna get, if we ask for something, they don't have to give it to us. So it's important we have it on the books.
Larry?
I'll make the motion.
No,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I just want to bring it up, so when we bring it up at the next board meeting, because we have to go through, we have to go through annexation, we have to have the zoning, and the one thing I should mention, I forgot, I had a call from the attorney today. Usually when you annex property, it'd be zoned residential. They're asking it to be zoned agricultural. I didn't ask them why, but it might be for tax purposes. Very, very low tax base.
Yeah.
And they are extremely careful, because there's a lot of, you've probably read the papers recently, even under President Trump's bill, they're going to change some of the credits. So they probably want to move on it fairly quickly. So I just want to bring it up to the board. So when we bring it up in August or something, we're aware of it. Okay.
Hey, Larry, is it possible instead of 150 feet, can we do like 500 feet?
I will try.
150 just seems awfully close, and I know that like Representative DeLuca has in the past been pushing for like 300 feet, but to get something a little farther, push it a little farther away from our residents.
I would concur with Scott, at least double that.
I'll be glad to try.
Yeah.
The reason I came up with most of these recommendations is that they went through the same thing with Manuka, this same company. And they had another project in Green Garden. They're going before the county on that. And they got permitted, and under their permit, it was 150 feet. So I'll try 500.
I seen that Green Garden, they shut that down.
Well, I'm not sure completely. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure completely, because, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think the township voted it, Green Garden Township voted it down, but I think they're still battling Will County for it, right?
That was what I read, was that it, and I don't, maybe it was their community page, something along those lines.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was, but I said, I think it was Green Garden Township
Okay.
that voted no on it, but it's whether Will County can override that or not.
Well, right.
So I just bring it up so when we discuss in the future. The second item I have, Mayor, is an ordinance scheduling a public hearing for the amendment to the TIF District Number 5. Pete, Bill, Ruben have put a lot of work, and Jeff, have put a lot of work into this. We're going to try to amend TIF Number 5 to bring in more property. It's going to be a large TIF, but we do need it to start hopefully getting Gale Street in, to help Vortman, so it's critical we get this completed. But we have to pass an ordinance tonight, calling for a public hearing which would be a joint review board, July 25th. The public hearing will be August 27th. The taxing districts will get a copy of this. They might have some concerns of the amendment, but Pete feels very comfortable that it's solid, but they will be notified probably tomorrow. So we would need an ordinance to approve.
I'll make second.
Any further discussion, board? Roll call.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Henson.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Rakes.
Yes.
Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Udress.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2086.
Thank you, Mayor. And the last item, again, just for discussion, Administrator Batista and I talked a couple of weeks ago, if not longer, about amending the ordinance regarding to discharge of a firearm in Monee, because we have sheepdog. So what I did is prepared an ordinance. I think I sent a copy to Chief Kerner, basically saying the only ones who discharge a firearm in Monee are police officers in his or her line of duty. Obviously, you can discharge a firearm. And the second one would be patrons of sheepdog who are properly licensed. We'll bring that up for the board's consideration and at probably the next board meeting.
So what do you mean exactly by that? I mean, I understand nobody should be outside shooting a firearm. I get that. But this is a ordinance to say that you shouldn't do that?
No, it's an ordinance allowing, like the patrons of sheepdog to shoot a gun inside the facility.
Okay.
Yeah, but just like in unincorporated County, where they go out in the back 20 or back 40 and fire off rounds, we can't do that in city limits or village limits. So that's just the ordinance stipulating that you cannot. It's that activity cease. You will be under penalty if you do. But we have to be fair in it because we're going to allow sheepdog to have its patrons fire weapons. But it's a technicality. That's all it is.
Okay,
yeah.
that's. I understand because cross street from where I stay,
I got
all
it too.
day long.
Yep, on the other side of us too.
So that was why I asked, because was it a formality? And I get it. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Larry, just for clarification, you have the, law enforcement performing their duties and citizens, in the indoor gun range, but you also had down here citizens who are properly licensed to possess a gun and defending his or her personal safety. I just wanted to make sure that is said also, so. I wouldn't want somebody to think they couldn't do it if it was their safety and that they'd get in trouble or something, just as a clarification.
I understand. But it'll be brought up at the next board meeting for consideration. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Any unfinished business? Any new business? Open to the public, non-agenda items.
I said I wasn't going to say anything, but you opened up a door. Colleen Costello, 6532 West Cedar Court. Regarding the solar discussion, we were thinking about different ways that the village could strengthen that the other day. One of the ideas that we were talking about was could they be forced to put up a bond or a letter of credit of something that would help take down at the end of its life? Because what happens, we've seen so much activity with the past administration from a federal perspective with all the tax credits, and everybody's been going crazy buying land, especially out in eastern Will County. A few of us went in January when they were discussing the solar farm at Harlem and Bruns. And when the Will County Board, the zoning committee, opened that discussion for that piece of property, they indicated that the state had already approved or put the framework in place. So if we don't have a specific ordinance, I'm not a legal person, so how do we strengthen it in such a way that we keep them at bay? But one of the things is they are very keen on the the solar companies are very keen talking about how they're going to bring it up and the trees they're going to put around it, and we're not going to disturb this and all of that. But what happens at the end of its life cycle? What happens if it goes bankrupt? What happens if the federal dollars are no longer there? Now we've got this, we've got this awful, disgusting thing sitting in the middle of our village, and then we're going to have to spend the money to take it down. So is there any way to frame it in that way to look ahead?
You can ask for a surety bond to be posted. That's usually for the construction of the facility. I will talk to the council regarding what if it does go bankrupt, belly up, who's liable for that? Now, under the ordinance, it says the owner and owner of the property, because they're leasing this property, they're not buying it. So the owner and the operator are liable for that. But I will be glad to talk to them about
Yeah,
that.
I'm just not sure how they're all framed, and I just think that's something to consider so that we're not on the hook at the end of it.
Colleen, I think it might be in here. Provide the village with a letter, Provide the village with a letter of credit or other sufficient financial surety in a form and amount acceptable to the village to ensure the ultimate decommissioning of the solar energy system upon, number 1, termination or discontinuance of its operation, or 2, the estimated end of life of said system's various components, if not replaced.
Okay. Yeah, just being able to have that language in there and letting everyone know that if you haven't attended one of those zoning commissions from a Will County perspective, they tell you just right up front, this thing's going through, because the state has articulated the legislation in such a way that I don't care what you think, they're going to push it through. So whatever we can do to protect the village would be great. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Larry, on that, can we do that? Where it's a liability to the business and landowner?
Yes, because it's not only Turning Point responsibility, but the landowner. It's probably in their lease. I haven't seen the lease, it's really none of our concern, but I bet Turning Point's got a provision in that lease with the owner saying whose responsibility is it. But yeah, we put them both down.
Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
All right, thanks. All right, executive session, number 1, 5 ILCS 120/2C, 2 collective negotiating matters, collective bargaining agreement, CBA police officers. And item number 2, 5 ILCS 120/2C, 5, the purchase or sale of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired or sold. The following PIN numbers: 211422 300-004-0000, 21142110001000, 2114174020070000, 21141106002000, 21141640001000. Thank you. May I please have a motion to close regular session?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Rakes.
Yes.
Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Uters.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Henson.
Yes.
May I please have a motion to reopen regular session?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Henson.
Present.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Rakes.
Yes.
Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Uters.
Yes.
10:07.
Thank you. O, possible action after executive session. Item number 2, possible purchase or sale of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired or sold. Can I please have a motion to negotiate for purchase, PIN number 2114223000040000?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Henson.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Rakes.
Yes.
Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Uters.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
No.
May I please have a motion to negotiate not to exceed $230,000, PIN number 2114211000100000.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udress?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
No.
May I please have a motion to negotiate for purchase not to exceed $205,000, PIN number 2114174020070000.
Make that motion.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udress?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
No.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
May I please have a motion to rebid with a description for development, PIN number 2114211060020000.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udress?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
And may I please have a motion to have an appraisal done for PIN number 2114164000100000.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Udress?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. May I please have a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn? Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udress?
Yes.
10-10.